The following program has been furnished and paid for by Ask the Expert Show. KSEV is not responsible for its content or the products or services offered. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local experts in the field of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. Now, here's your host, Gary Knight.
And a hearty welcome. I hope your weekend is going fine. We are AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Harlan Pickett is with us today. Sir, how you doing from FESA?
Hey, doing great, buddy. How are you today?
I am fine. Tell us about FESA.
Federal Employee Service Association. Now helping the public sector also. We help you with all your retirement income planning. We also have our sister company, Eagle Care Health Solutions, can help you with all those health care needs, including your Medicare, your ACA plans, and, of course, the unique Eagle Care Health Solutions out there that we can help you get set up on. Make sure you get the best coverage for the best cost. You can reach us over at the FESA number, which is 512-687-6202. That's 512-687-6202, or at gofesa.com. That's GOFESA.com.
What's the qualifications? How young and how old can you be?
Yes.
That makes sense. You've answered it.
There you go, buddy. The answer is yes. You can be old or young. How about either one of those things?
Well, you got a pulse. Seriously,
it helps if you, when you call in, you have that pulse. We can do a little bit better job for you and get you set up a little bit better situation than if you don't.
Thank you for telling me about the subsidy to cover my COBRA insurance. It's been a lifesaver. This lawyer said it only applies until September 30th, though. What happens after that? What do they do?
Okay, great. Yes, absolutely. We have talked about that both on the Health and Wealth Power Hour on Thursdays and here on Ask the Experts. A great benefit that came forth from the American Rescue Freedom Act was that you receive a tax credit to pay for your COBRA from April 1st through September 30th. Now, we all know that COBRA can be extremely expensive. If you got a family out there, we're talking about $1,500, $2,000 or more. I do know one couple that have just one child, and theirs was going to be about $2,200 a month for their COBRA. And regardless of what that cost was, it was going to be subsidized and paid for at zero cost, so they were covering 100% of that COBRA all the way through September 30th. Now, what happens after that? That's a great question, because at this point, now you've lost your coverage. Well, that does give you a special enrollment period on the ACA. We can also look at short-term plans if you're just looking for something to get you through the end of this year. Of course, there's also potentially the opportunity that maybe you have a job at another company now, and you could get on their plan at that point. Also, of course, look at Eagle Care Health Solutions. We can look at one of those unique plans, and you can go from a plan costing you about $2,200 to one costing you about $500 a month. Save you some money and have some excellent coverage. Lots of different options out there. If you see that this is an issue that you are going to face, let's get ahead of it. Don't wait until September 30th before you start looking for options. Get in touch with us before then so we can look at what your situation is and help you better. Don't forget, you can reach out to us at any time, 512-687-6202, or reach us out there at gofesa.com.
Yeah, it's been a rough one. You had the virus, and it's still slang, and people are without jobs. Some companies they used to work for closed and shut their doors forever, or at least in the meantime.
Okay.
This guy, a person, was lucky enough to find another job pretty quickly. Benefits are not going to start, though, for 60 days. So
yeah.
What do? He doesn't. I wouldn't want to be without health insurance. That's scary.
It really is. I mean, we still have a pandemic going on. That's right. Obviously, it's not as robust as it was, as it were. You're not hearing near as much about COVID as far as many hospitalizations, as many deaths. We have got a much greater handle on it, but it's not just COVID. Of course, you don't have to worry about your accidents and different things that could happen. Cancer knows no timeline. We all know someone who's been affected by that. And, not having health insurance, really, you're rolling the dice. So I understand this individual.
Are there options to this?
There really are. So
really?
What's happened with this individual that I understand is they had a job. That company shut down. Now they're without coverage, because if that company shut down, there's typically not going to be a COBRA. There's no one to pay for the COBRA.
No,
okay? So
there's
nobody to pay for the COBRA. There's no COBRA option. So they're just without coverage. Now, here they get a new job, but as what happens with many employers, there's this waiting period before your benefits kick in. And there are many options out there. If this individual for some reason was able to get unemployment anytime this year, then he could actually get a free silver plan until his benefits kicked in. He also may just qualify for a decent Obamacare plan for those couple of months, or we can get him a short-term plan, which would be very, very inexpensive for that time period. The reason why we would look at many different options is because maybe they have some type of pre-existing condition or have some medication they're taking that would not be covered well under a short-term plan. Therefore, you would need to get on an ACA plan for those couple of months to make sure that that is covered very, very well. What I've seen so many times in the past, though, Gary, is that someone goes to try to do this themselves. They don't know how to answer the questions properly, and now they realize, oh, I get no help. I don't get a tax credit, and I don't have $1,500 a month to spend on this.
Yeah, and Cobra is a good choice, but there again, that's expensive over time.
Right, but they may not even have that option if their company's shut down. But because they're not answering the questions right and they don't understand how the ACA works, they may actually qualify for a tax credit and not know it. That's what we do, is we understand all the ins and outs of that. And so if you reach out to us, we can help you get that tax credit that you really are eligible for, so you have the coverage you need for that gap, even if it's for a couple of months.
Is that whether, in addition, while you mentioned employment, some people are still working. I'm working yet. Some people probably work till they're 80. Hey, good, more power to you.
Right.
But some people are on a fixed income, and it's really tight for these people.
Right. And because of that, you have to look at all the different options. Once, of course, you get into Medicare age, you can look at different options than what you have if you're under 65. And we look at all those different things for you. We help give you the best advice so that you can really utilize what your budget allows. You can utilize that in the best way to get the best coverage possible for yourself.
Somebody said about signing up for Medicare. Does that mean you have to sign up for Social Security at the same time? Is that a true thing?
It's very interesting that you ask that question, because what happens a lot of times is that people think that, they kind of happen close to the same time, right? You get eligible for Social Security at 62. Medicare's not till 65. A lot of folks have put that off, and now they're getting to that 65 years of age. And one of the first questions that happens is, well, how am I going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Well, typically the way you pay for it is through a deduction for Part B anyway. Part A is typically free. You're paying for Part B of Medicare through a deduction of Social Security. But you don't have to. You don't have to sign up for Social Security at that same time. You can pay for it out of your bank account. You can send them a check. You can pay for it separately. The true answer to that question is no. You do not have to sign up for Social Security when you sign up for Medicare.
Oh, very good. Medicare Advantage Plan. Okay, this person is on one. Recently moved into the Houston area and now receives a letter from the plan telling him that he has to pick a new plan because I'm out of the service area. There are doctors here that take my plan. Do I really have to switch?
That's an interesting question, simply because I see this more often than you would think as people move around. A lot of times whenever they're in that retired age, they may move to go with family. They may even have part-time homes. You have people that are snowbirds and move from one state to another. Yeah. And the way that you keep from having your plan do that is that you have to have one place that is going to be, even if you're a snowbird, you've got a permanent residence. But we don't know where this individual moved from. But typically, even a plan that has a nationwide PPO network, that plan is going to have what's called a service area. And that service area is where that plan is available to be purchased. And if you move somewhere, if you change your address to a location that is not in that service area, meaning that that plan is not available to be purchased in that area, then you have to change your plan. Even if the doctors in that area may be in network. We see this quite often in nationwide PPO networks. You have a United Healthcare plan, you have a Humana plan, an Aetna plan that all have these nationwide networks, and you move from Wisconsin to Texas. That's not a huge deal as far as networks go, because both plans all those plans are available in both places. So you're going to find doctors that take it, but it may not be the same plan that's available. So yes, they're going to require you to change that plan. That move that you just made and that letter you received from them is going to give you that special enrollment plan. And you just need to talk to a broker such as Eagle Care Health Solution to help you find that plan that is the closest to the one that you have now.
We're talking about medical plans. Vision plans, obviously, is something different altogether. Some say pretty expensive, but are they really worth having?
Well, it's very interesting because most times a vision plan, it's kind of questionable. They really don't cost a whole lot of money. Most of them are going to run anywhere from, say, $8 to $12 a month.
Oh,
that's not very much. But then you have to look at, well, what am I actually spending? A lot of times, let's just say that plan gives you a free exam. Well, if your exam costs you $70 and you're paying $9 a month for that plan, well, yeah, you saved a little bit of money, but was it put towards your glasses? A lot of times it's worth it. If you're going to have those annual exams, then sure. If you're going to buy new lenses or contacts, particularly contacts, it can certainly be worth it. But let me tell you where it's even more important is if you have some type of issue with your eyes that may require you to have a specialized lens because of, say, a scratched cornea or something along those lines, those vision plans can be the difference between getting the specialized contacts or services or even exam that you need and not getting it. Most of the time, those are not going to fall under your medical insurance, so you want to make sure that you get a vision plan that's going to cover that. I have clients that are paying very little for a plan, but are having those thousands of dollars worth of contacts and those exams covered at 100% because it is a specialized thing that they must have. They can't wear the traditional regular contacts. So you have to look at the plan details on that to get that covered, but that can be where it makes a huge difference in making sure someone has the right vision plan.
Ophthalmologist comes to mind. They're very expensive.
Ophthalmologists are different than your optometrist.
You
That's
could have
right.
a cornea transplant, retina problems, and detachment. We'll move on, but I understand your point.
Absolutely.
Plan here doesn't work for him very much. It doesn't seem to cover anything. My deductible, $7,000.
Wow.
I'm afraid to go to the doctor because I have no idea how much this is going to cost. I understand. Is there anything else I can do?
Okay, so let's kind of review that for a second. It sounds to me like he's got a plan. He said it doesn't cost him very much, but he's got a $7,000 deductible. Yeah, I can see that would be a concern other than your preventative care. I guess what we're first thinking is that this is going to be a qualified plan. Since he's saying it doesn't cost very much, that means he's probably getting some types of tax credit, or maybe it's a group plan and he's not having to pay a whole lot for it. But he's concerned because of the $7,000 deductible. Now, all of these plans have to cover your preventative care, so that would not be a concern. But what a lot of folks are concerned about whenever they have this type of plan is, I'm afraid just to go to the doctor because I have no idea what it's going to be. And there can be some serious issues that are occurring there.
Uh-huh.
We all know that so many people now have diabetes and some of these other issues that may go undiagnosed because you're afraid to go get it checked out. High blood pressure is another one, obviously called the silent killer for a reason. There's no real indicators of that until it's too late a lot of times. And if you're not going and having those regular checkups, then you don't know. Well, if you're not really understanding that you can get that preventative care and you're afraid to go to the doctor for something that's not preventative care, then wow, you can put yourself in a pretty bad situation. Now, this is where memberships to things like direct primary care services can be a huge, huge deal. They can supplement that plan, and for a small monthly fee, now you have unlimited access to doctors for a low or no copay. There's direct primary care clinics here in the Houston area, all the way across Texas, and we even offer one through Eagle Care Health Solutions. It is a standalone direct primary care product that helps our members that have these other plans outside of that. It can be in conjunction with our health shares, or it can be standalone to work with a high deductible plan. But it can certainly make sure that you have access to doctors for a very low cost and not have to worry about going to the doctor and going broke because of just a doctor's visit.
If you're like me, everybody, and I'm over 70, I still have employee insurance, and I'm afraid to let it go right now. You know how I've been with you.
Right.
I mean, it really is hard to let go.
Sure.
What do you do?
Well, at some point you got to pull the pin, right? You really do.
I'm 50 years doing this, and you're so used to this, and it's a long time.
I got you, and I understand. And what do I tell you every time we talk about it?
I know.
If you want to keep spending that money, go right ahead.
I know.
There's a potential $400 a month that you can save.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh, I've seen it. The numbers,
right? Yeah. And hey, there's a lot to be said about familiarity, right? You know what you've got. You've had it for all this time. It is. It's tough to let go.
No, you're right. We're talking to Harlan Pickett. FESA number is 512-687-6202, or you can go gofesa.com and do that right now. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
The Federal Employee Service Association, FESA, helps federal and non-federal employees. In 2008, a group of individuals with over 100 years of combined experience in financial services created an organization with a service-first approach. They began by becoming federal benefits specialists and helping those employees understand their benefits at no cost. In 2017, they took their experience helping federal employees and made the same services available to the non-federal worker. With a service-first, at no-cost approach, they utilized the retirement income planning philosophy of people are living longer and must have a guaranteed income stream they cannot outlive. At FESA, one of their newest free services is Social Security Maximization. Highly trained individuals, supported by sophisticated software, are available to make Social Security claiming a peace-of-mind experience. An individual can receive hundreds of thousands of dollars and sometimes millions of dollars from their Social Security benefits. It is very important that decisions are made that maximize that income stream. Whether they're working with Social Security, pensions, or IRAs, FESA begins with a free personal benefits analysis to help you understand which benefits are available to you and what you may be paying for that you cannot use. Human resource departments work for companies, but FESA works for you. Contact FESA today at 512-687-6202 or log on to gofesa.com. That's gofesa.com.
And we're back. That was a quick minute.
Sure was.
A little over a minute, but who's counting? This is Gary Knight. This is Ask the Experts. Harlan Pickett is with us today. That's Medicare, right? Can you do that right now?
Share, retirement income planning. They want to know how much Social Security will I get when it's time.
Ooh.
How about getting a free Social Security report to make sure that you make the best decision for your retirement there? We can help you with all that stuff, including a free personal benefits analysis. Well, what would that all be about? Personal benefits analysis. We'll look at all the different things that you have going on right now and show you also what is available to you to make sure that you are doing the best thing for your family. You know, it's amazing how many times, Gary, we see people that have benefits and have had benefits for years that they simply could not even use, and they're paying for them. Helped a lady just last week. She was spending almost $200 a month on plans that she couldn't use because it was her by herself now, no longer had kids that qualified for it, and she was no longer married, and she's paying for plans for people that are no longer even covered.
Needlessly.
Imagine that. For years she was doing it, almost $200 a month, didn't even realize what it was.
I know a person that's been 8 years on Medicare. They made 8 changes every year. They had to do different things. You have to.
Well,
and you got to keep up with stuff. But how do you know? Things are happening so quickly. How do you learn from this? Do you just talk to people all the time?
That's right. Yes, sir. I just keep abreast of what's going on. And as you're talking about someone changing those plans, you know what? If you don't have someone doing that for you, which that's what we do, we have hundreds of clients that we keep up with what's going on with them, and we check every year to make sure that the Medicare plan they're on is going to be the best for the next year. And if it's not, we make sure that they see the options of what would be best for them and show them why making that change would be the best for them.
HSA account, before we start, what does that mean? What is
Health savings account. That is a separate account you can open for your family or yourself to pay for medical expenses as they come along throughout the year.
Well, somebody says they really want to start one, but afraid they won't spend it all by the end of the year. Okay, I understand that now. Someone told me that they don't get forfeited anymore, but they roll over to the next year. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, it actually is a true statement, Gary, because I understand exactly what they're talking about. Back in the day, back when I had an HSA too, whenever I was younger, through my company, I had one. And man, you get ready into December, and everyone's trying to get new glasses and going to the doctor for this or that, or they're getting to a dentist appointment, getting my cleanings. Everyone's trying to spend all their HSA money because at midnight on December 31st, that's gone, right? You forfeit it to the company or to the federal government, whoever it was. It's gone. Well, those HSA days are gone, Gary. Now, an HSA, think of it almost like a medical IRA. What's happening is you get to keep that money in that account. It rolls over every year. There are caps on how much you can put on it, whether that is for an individual or for a family, but it just keeps building up and keeps rolling over. There are, in fact, HSA plans out there, if you go shopping for them, that will pay you interest. There are HSA plans where you can play the market, where you can do all kind of crazy things with
gambling.
your HSA and treat it just like a retirement plan, because it really is. Think about medical expenses that you may need later in life when you're retired.
Yeah.
Well, you can still use that money at that time. If, however, you turn 59 and a half and you want to use it more like a retirement fund, you can do that also. You do not have to pay the penalty for taking that out for non-medical expenses once you're 59 and a half, but you will have to pay taxes on it just like it was an IRA.
The health insurance plan my employer offers me, it's called an MEC. What is MEC?
A MEC, okay?
Okay, what? Tell me. They were
MEC.
told. Well, first they were told that it was not going to cover a hospital stay. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's right. If the plan is strictly a MEC, what we're seeing more and more employers do because of the rising cost of health plans is they are providing MECs to their folks. I just had a lady out of Alabama I talked to here just a couple of weeks ago,
You're all over.
and her plan covered nothing but her preventative care. That's it.
My.
It actually says in the plan it does not cover accidents or illnesses. When you look at it, you're like, wait, what?
What?
It doesn't cover accidents or illnesses. What does this cover?
Why do I need it?
Nothing but your preventative. Yes, that's right. Why do you need it? And she said it's a new thing that they just started offering. Before this, they were offering a real plan, in her words, real plan, and now they're offering this. Well, a MEC, what it really stands for is minimum essential coverage. That means it follows all the guidelines that an ACA plan must have. Now, interestingly enough, those ACA plans are not required to provide hospitalization. They are required to provide things such as your preventative care, mammograms, colonoscopies, childhood immunizations, a number of other things along those lines, but not hospitalization. And so while these plans, these MEC plans, follow the letter of the law and keep these employers from having to pay fines for not having insurance, they do not truly provide the coverage that most employees need nor want, because hospitalization isn't covered. Many of the things that they would expect to be covered are not covered. It's very, very common now to find these plans that are only covering preventative care and nothing else, and people don't realize it until it's time to use it.
That'll be changed eventually, probably.
It will be changed. It's something
it takes time.
It does take time. It's a loophole that's been found for these companies because they don't want to spend that extra money. That's also a place where Eagle Care Health Solutions can come in with our group plan and still provide full, robust benefits without limiting things and not letting you have hospitalization and other benefits you can use.
Harlan Pickett's with us from
Vesa.
and I'm Gary Knight, your host. Now, I've heard you, Harlan, talk about health plans that can be offered to a group of 1099 employees. I remember you say that a few times.
Yep.
What is that, once again, and how does it work?
Yeah, that's a good question, Gary. In fact, I just kind of mentioned it. It's funny that question come up next. The Eagle Care Health Solutions plans are plans that can be offered to 1099 employees. It is still considered a group. It is still paid by a single payer. So if the employer wants to offer his 1099 contractors, we call them employees. That's a very loose definition there because truly they are contractors. But as long as it's a single pay plan, then they can offer that. We just helped a group with a little over 100 1099 contractors / employees, however you want to look at them, offer benefits for the first time ever to these folks. And let me tell you, there was a lot of excitement there because they never thought that they would be able to get a group plan. This was exciting both for the employer and for the employees, the 1099 contractors that never believed they would have had something. Whenever I was on the Zoom call explaining the benefits to the individuals there, they were beside themselves. They just could not believe that this was going to be offered to them and this company was making these inroads and doing something so unique. We have also partnered, as I mentioned before, with AFLAC to offer the supplemental benefits, and those can also be offered in groups of 1099 contractors. So this company is now able to offer both health benefits and supplemental benefits, voluntary benefits as it were, to all of their 1099s Wow, that's cutting edge stuff, Gary. That's awesome.
Harlan Pickett, we've got a minute left. Takeaway for everybody listening today.
All right, I tell you what, we get to hit the tip of the iceberg here when we talk on these wonderful Sunday shows with Ask the Expert. But if you want to get the full meal deal, baby, join us on Health and Wealth Power Hour every Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. right here on KSEV. If you're listening outside of the Houston area, that is on ksevradio.com. You can also go to our show page on ksevradio.com and listen to the podcast. We had a great show this past week talking about addiction. Had the wonderful folks from Last Resort Recovery on. Go out, take a listen to it, and we will catch you here in a couple of weeks on Ask the Experts. Thank you, Gary.
Our pleasure. That's Harlan Pickett, Gary Knight, Ask the Experts. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks again for tuning in for another Ask the Expert show right here on AM 700 KSEV.